Hello everybody, today's lesson is about how to measure ingredients. And I'm going to show you how to measure dry and liquid ingredients by making chocolate cupcakes. And I hope that you will make them along with me. Mise en place.
Mise en place.
That's a French term that means to get everything in place ahead of time. So before you begin any cooking project, make sure your hair is up, your hands are washed, you have a clean apron on, and you have set out all of your tools and ingredients that you will need for the recipe. For this recipe, we are going to need vegetable oil, apple cider vinegar, and vanilla, and water. Those are our liquid ingredients. Our dry ingredients are unsweetened cocoa powder, all-purpose flour, brown sugar, granulated sugar, baking soda, and salt. The tools that we will need are dry measuring cups, measuring spoons, and a liquid measuring cup, as well as a scoop to get our flour into the cup. You'll need a knife. Doesn't have to be sharp, just something with a flat edge. And for mixing, you will need a mixing bowl, a whisk, and a rubber spatula. All right, so let's get started. To measure flour, you will need a dry measuring cup and a spoon. Sprinkle the flour into the measuring cup until it is overflowing. Then, using the flat edge of a knife, tap the top to fill in any air pockets and level it off. Flour compacts very easily, so it's important that you never just dip the measuring cup into the bag of flour. You will get too much flour in your recipe, and it may turn out dry and crumbly. Measuring brown sugar is the exact opposite of flour. Dip your measuring spoon or cup into the container and then press it down, packing it in as tightly as you can, then level it off. It should hold its shape like a sandcastle if you've done it correctly. Granulated sugar is heavy and will naturally level itself. Just dip in and shake to level. To measure your cocoa powder, simply dip your tablespoon into the container and level it off. But it's tricky. Cocoa powder is very fine, so be careful that it doesn't fly all over the place when you dump it out. It's important that you use unsweetened cocoa powder because the recipe already has sugar in it, so we don't want it to be overly sweet. To measure baking soda or baking powder, simply dip your teaspoon in and level it off with your finger or with the back of a knife. Salt is just like granulated sugar. Dip and shake to level. The next step in this recipe is to mix all the dry ingredients together, making sure to get all of the lumps out of the brown sugar. You will need a liquid measuring cup for measuring oil, water, milk, things that are wet. First, find the line that you wish to measure to so that you know where you're headed. Then, set the liquid measuring cup down on a flat surface and pour. But make sure you stoop down so that your eye is level with the line so that you can see when the liquid reaches it. To measure small amounts of liquid like vanilla and vinegar, make sure that you measure over another bowl and not over your mixing bowl with all the other ingredients, because if you spill, you may get too much in your mixture. Now whisk to mix, but don't overmix or your cake will be rubbery. Scrape the sides and stir. Now it's time to put it into our cupcake pan. I'm using a ladle for this job. You can use a ladle Or you can pour the bowl over the top or use a 1/4 cup dry measuring cup to scoop the batter out. Notice that I hold the bowl very close to my target. That way I'm less likely to dribble chocolate all over my pan and table. To scrape the rest of the chocolate batter out of your bowl, use a rubber spatula. Scrape the sides and the bottom and fill any cups that might be underfilled. This goes in a 350-degree oven for about 18 minutes or until the tops spring back when you lightly touch them on top. Let's go put them in the oven.